are my sunshine, my only sun. Okay, all jokes aside, ever since the Luka Doncic trade, the Lakers have been the talk of the town, which usually is a bad thing, but this time around it's actually justified. Number one, because they made arguably the biggest trade in NBA history, but also number two, LA has actually been good this year, and I feel like this has gone kind of under the radar. The Lakers have played exactly 50 games and have won 31 out of those 50 games, which is 100% an improvement from last season. If we look at last season, at the 50 game mark, the Lakers were exactly 25-25, a 500 record. But despite dealing with injuries and a lot of stuff going on, LA has actually been better. It's crazy. When people said this roster got better during the offseason, they weren't joking. When they said hiring JJ Redick was a good move, they weren't joking. They weren't overreacting. And I know there's been a lot of people who have talked bad about JJ Redick ever since he got hired, but for what it's worth, I think he's done an incredible job this year. And I don't think it's just the coaching adjustments that he's making in game. I think the culture overall is just better. And I think it is one of the reasons why LA is showing improvement. But of course, there's other factors that we have to discuss, like my Lopuki LeBron James. Oh my schmuckums gloria. I'm sorry. I'm not doing this bit. I'm not doing this anymore. Look, the bottom line is, despite LeBron getting older as time has gone on, he's what, I think 40, 41 years old. He is still a contributing player to this Lakers team. Technically, he's having a down year, but I don't see it that way. And it's crazy because again, the man is 40 plus years old. He's not the top 5, top 10 player that he used to be, but the fact that he is arguably a top 20 player in the league right now is something you don't normally see. Now, I'm not dumb. Obviously, LeBron is starting to regress as a player. If we look at his stats and the way he's been playing, he's slowly having a decline. But for this being his decline at this point of his career, I think it's something that's going to go down in history. Now, I would love to talk about the person who I think has been the most valuable to this team, but he just got traded. I will say though, Anthony Davis is having one hell of a season, and I do think in Dallas he is going to do great things. But unfortunately, I cannot talk about him in this video anymore because he's not on the team. So instead, let's talk about the new guy on the team. Now, I say new guy because originally I wanted to talk about a couple new people. One of them was Mark Williams, who was involved in a trade that had Dalton Knecht and Cameron Reddish being sent to Charlotte in exchange for Mark Williams. Because of course, trading Anthony Davis, you get rid of that center, you get rid of that defense. And getting Mark Williams was obviously not going to fully replace AD, but it would have been a great move. Unfortunately, today it has been announced the trade has been rescinded. Apparently, it was LA that rescinded the trade, something about, I guess, the conditions of it, but I think what is starting to come out is that Mark Williams' health just wasn't, being fully disclosed. I mean, I'll say it again, it does suck because I thought Mark Williams was going to be great for LA. But unfortunately, a trade that was not rescinded was Luka to LA. It is the biggest trade of the year. There's been so many videos made about it. I don't need to discuss it, like actually how this went down, but I will talk about the trade and what it means for LA. I have a hot take and I feel like a lot of people are going to disagree with me, but please be patient with what I'm about to say. I do think that in the next 1 to 2 years that Dallas is going to win the trade. However, after those 1 to 2 years that AD, Kyrie and Klay, they all play together, when that is over, Luka in LA is going to be the future. And I do think that the next 10 to 15 years are Luka's, especially because it seems like LA is trying to put talent next to Luka. They're making trades, they're making moves to make the team better. Now, I am actually curious, when Luka does come back from injury, which is supposed to be soon, how will this affect LeBron's how will this affect LA as a team in their push for the playoffs? Because I believe one of the most important things you can do as a team in the NBA is get hot right around the postseason. That's all you need to do. It doesn't matter what seeding LA is, but if LA can get hot as a team that has players that are experienced in the playoffs, then they can be deadly. Luka is the same man that took a Dallas team to the playoffs multiple times, even a finals by himself. Okay, maybe not the finals by himself, but he was definitely a majority of the reason why they were there. So I wonder, on a team that I would say is objectively better, what is going to happen? Could they make the finals? I think it's unlikely because the West is just so damn stacked this year. But if OKC was to struggle for some reason, if Houston just isn't ready, then LA could be that third team that I'm looking at. They're like, they might actually be able to contend this year. Dude. It's 3 in the morning, I am sick and I am very tired. So I am going to record this in one take, so hopefully I don't sound like shit. If you guys are enjoying the video, then leave a like on it and subscribe to the channel if you're new. We're trying to hit 100,000 subscribers on the channel by the end of the year, so your subscription would be greatly appreciated. Also, if you guys enjoy raw, unfiltered NBA content 3 times a week, then this is the perfect channel for you. Also, another thing, I'm going to be dropping my video essay for February within the next couple weeks. Also, if you're wondering why I don't sound like shit for 99% of the video, that's because I recorded this yesterday. But with all that being said, let's hop right back into the video. You know, I find it kind of interesting that we're like 5 minutes into this video and I haven't even talked about Hillbilly Kobe yet, especially when this man just dropped 45 fucking points in a win versus the Pacers. Mind you, no Braun, no Luka, no Maxi Kleber, that was a big miss. But seriously, this man Austin Reaves has the ability to step up as a scorer when the guys just aren't there. I honestly think having Austin Reaves as your third option is not the worst thing in the world, and I think a lot of teams wish they had that problem. You know, honestly, I love it that every single season we are seeing improvements from Austin Reaves. Every single season he's showing to get better, not just as a scorer, not just statistically, but overall he is just showing that he is a main player on this team. Now I say all these good things about the Lakers, and truly their offense is going to be great, as if it's already not. But of course there is a problem that we have to discuss, and that is the lack of defense now that Mark Williams is not coming to the team. I mean, the trade deadline is over, so your best bet is signing free agents, which at this point I don't think there's really that many guys out there that you can call up to save your team. I mean, I'm looking at the options, and at this point I don't really think there's anyone good out there for LA to get, so they're stuck with the guys that they have. I mean, if I go down the list, they have Christian Koloko, who doesn't even play in the game like at all. One of their other centers is Trey Jemison, who's I mean, nothing special. Honestly, their best center is that mark-ass bitch Jackson Hayes, who is currently averaging about 6 points, 4 rebounds, and 1 block. I mean, they do have Christian Wood on the roster, who's a power forward that can play center, but this man has not played in a long-ass time, and there really is no timeable return, you know, for him to come back. So yeah, LA is kind of fucked on that side of the ball. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Luka Doncic, a great scorer. He is going to do amazing in LA. But on the defensive side, I'm very concerned to see what teams are going to do. LeBron, I think at this point, is their best defender, which is not a good thing. It's like Phoenix having Kevin Durant as their best defender. Actually, I take that back. I do think Rui Hachimura could be in contention for the best defender on LA. But that's it. It's just LeBron and Rui. I do think their new acquisition, Jordan Goodwin, has shown some potential in his debut. In DFS, he's definitely going to be great for this team. But other than that, again, DFS is a forward, and Jordan Goodwin, this is just pure potential. Now, do not get me wrong. They do have a couple good defenders on this team. I'm not saying that. I just don't know if it is enough to contend for an NBA title. But honestly, when I looked at the Luka trade, I was not thinking, oh, this is going to benefit them this year. I'm thinking this is going to benefit them in the next 2 years, and then, you know, from ever on after that. Because LeBron is getting to the point where I don't see him having more than 3 years left. I just don't think he can do it. So Luka is obviously going to be the guy, as if he's already not the guy. So now we're kind of looking towards the future, but it's crazy because LA still has a team that can contend. There are 32 games left for LA to play, and honestly, no matter how I spin it, I do see this as an improvement year for LA. But I think every Lakers fan does want to see this team do well in the playoffs, which is very much possible.